I call Sue Kedgley, who has the right to reply.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to start and acknowledge, as Phil Twyford did, the members of Save Animals from Exploitation Safe and the SPCA and all the hundreds of New Zealanders who took the trouble to contact MPs, to email MPs, to write to MPs, pleading with them to support this bill. They will be desperately disappointed that the National Party tonight that claims to support animal welfare is voting against this bill. Now, I predicted that feeble excuses would be trotted out tonight to try to justify the fact that the National Party is voting for the vested interests who want to keep animals in cages, not for the animals. But I didn't realise how feeble the excuses that would be trotted out would be. And I was astonished to hear, for example, that one of the reasons was that the Minister would have powers in this bill to override the National Animal Welfare Advisory Committee. Well, the Minister has spent the last 2 years complaining about, I don't have the power to change the pig code, he says. It's up to NAWAC. There's nothing I can do. I don't have the powers. So we come up with this bill and we give him the powers to amend the Act. And he says, no, I'm opposing this bill because it would give me the powers to amend the pig code, which is what every New Zealander wants the Minister to do. How feeble is that? There was another feeble excuse, I think it was left to poor Dr. Jackie Blue. I know that in Jackie Blue's heart of hearts, she wants to get rid of sour crates, and she felt sick in her stomach having to stand up and make these feeble excuses. And in fact, we now know why the National Party was so adamantly opposed to allowing this bill to be a conscience vote, because they knew if this was a conscience vote, every member of this Parliament, apart from the few who are completely beholden to vested interests, would vote for this bill. They would vote to support the animals and not to support the vested interests. And that's why they were so desperate not to allow this bill which is all about conscience issues, which is all about ethical and moral issues. They wouldn't allow it to be a conscience issue because they knew their members would support it, and instead of supporting the vested interests, namely the Pork Industry Board, the Poultry Industry Board, who do not want this bill. Another one, Colin King, another feeble excuse. He said, we should leave it up to the experts. Leave it up to the experts in NAWAC to decide what is best. Well, I can tell you, New Zealanders are sick of those experts, those so-called experts, as my colleague said, the cruelty experts, the experts in justifying the continued animal cruelty in NAWAC and others. They are sick of listening to those officials. They want Parliament, they want this Parliament to act to end animal cruelty. My bill gives this Parliament the opportunity to do this. It gives them the opportunity to phase out sour crates, to respond to public opinion, and they will be shocked to learn that the National Party and the ACT Party have opposed this bill. And do not come up with your weasel words about how you support animal welfare and how you've increased the budget. This bill is the litmus test of whether or not members of this Parliament support animal cruelty, whether they support the animals or whether they support the vested interests. Frankly, it is a travesty, and I hope that the MPs who vote against this bill will live with their conscience. And I hope that members of the public who have implored MPs to vote for this bill. I hope that they will remember your actions tonight when it comes to the next election. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members, the